Hi, my name is Jade and this is a book haul. So for the last 2 years I've been very restrained when it comes to buying books because I've been putting all of my spare money into a savings account in order to put a deposit on a house. But now that I have bought that house, I went a little bit insane and bought a lot of books. So I thought I would show these books to you, and at the end there's a surprise for everyone involved, including me, because I have subscribed to a mystery box of books, which I will be opening on camera, so I don't know what's in this. We'll find out together at the end of the video. So all the books in this book haul were bought from 2 different websites. The first is World of Books, which is, I believe, a UK based online company that sells secondhand books, and you can specify what level of condition you want these books to be in. Obviously the worse condition they are, the cheaper they are, but it's a good way to lower your carbon footprint because you're buying books that are pre-loved, and they have a really good selection there. The second website is the Book Depository, which is actually an Australian based company, which I guess kind of negates the carbon footprint saving that I got from World of Books, because I always forget that it's Australia, so it has to be shipped over here. But even still, those are also secondhand books. I try not to buy brand new books. I mostly shop in charity shops and online, unless I've been given a book token or something for a present, then I will go into a proper bookshop where the books are all brand new. But without further ado, let me show you the books that I got. So I'm going to start with the secondhand books that I got from World of Books. The first book I got was On Earth We Are Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. I butchered that name, I'm really sorry. I don't know all that much about this, other than the fact that apparently it is emotionally devastating, which I'm always about that. I believe it's set either in the Vietnam War or following the aftermath of the Vietnam War. And it's a story about a mother and son, I think. Yes. So the main character is called Little Dog, and it's about his and his mother's relationship after the Vietnam War. But I'm very excited about that one. The next one I got is Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race by Rennie Edo-Lodge. I've seen a lot of recommendations for a bunch of anti-racist books, but a lot of them are quite American-centric, which I realise racism in America, very big issue, very big deal, but as someone who lives in England, I quite like the fact that this is all about racism in Britain, because that's a lot more applicable to me and the country that I live in. The next book I got was Queenie by Candice Carty-Williams. I believe this might be a romance, which is a bit of a departure from my usual shtick, but I've heard a lot of good things about this, and apparently it's really quite funny. So it follows this girl Queenie through her life, I think trying to find love whilst also trying to do well at her job and dealing with just regular everyday issues. So sort of a slice of life type contemporary fiction book. The next book I got was Room by Emma Donoghue. I think everybody knows what this is about, whether you've read the book or seen the movie. I've done neither. I've not read the book, I haven't seen the movie because I wanted to read the book first. But Room is about a young boy whose mother was kidnapped, I don't know when, but she's been kept in this room and regularly abused by the person who's kidnapped her, to the point where she has given birth to this little boy, and the only thing he knows is this one room and his mother and his father. The next book I got from World of Books is Girl, Woman, Other from Bernardine Evaristo. This one, I don't think it's a collection of short stories, but it follows 12 different girls sort of throughout their lives. I'm not sure how entwined the characters are with each other, but I think their lives run fairly parallel, and it's sort of, I believe, just a story about womanhood and growing up as a woman in this world that we currently live in. Especially, I think, as a woman of colour. And the last book I got from World of Book was actually a graphic novel. It's called Eat and Love Yourself by Sweeney Boo. This is a very short graphic novel, but absolutely gorgeous art style. Can we just look at that colour? I mean, just the colours and the art style, just so pretty. This follows the story of a girl who is recovering from an eating disorder. And there's a bit of magical realism in this, that somehow I think she gets the opportunity to sort of relive her life, or see how her life would have worked out if she didn't have this eating disorder. Okay, so now let's move on to the books I got from the book depository. The first book I got from the book depository is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. This is set in the universe of the Hunger Games. It's a prequel that follows the story of President Snow. I'm a bit trepidatious about this book, let's say, because Snow was a great villain in the Hunger Games series and the Hunger Games books, but I was never super interested in having any kind of a sympathetic backstory for him. I was happy with him being like a just sort of a stereotypical just arsehole of a villain, and I thought that was great. He was great as a villain, super intelligent, really analytical, just completely cutthroat. So I'm concerned that Suzanne is going to try and humanise him in a way that I'm not all that comfortable with, but you never know. I really like Suzanne Collins' writing style, so I'm still going to give this a go. The next book I got from the book depository is Shadow and Bone. I only bought the first one because I have a rule for myself, a rule that came about after I bought the entirety of the Twilight series when I was about 13, without reading any of them, and then realised after the first book that I absolutely hated them, that I will buy one book in a series, and then if I like it, I can then buy the rest, which, you know, is logical to me now, but back then I'd just be like, oh look, here's a series of books, let me just throw my money at it and buy them all, even though I have no idea if I like them. Ramble aside, Shadow and Bone. Another book, a bit like Room, where I feel like everyone knows, or at least has heard of this book. It's just been released as a Netflix adaptation. I've watched 2 episodes of the Netflix adaptation before I decided, no, I really want to read the book first. I've heard that it's a really good adaptation, but I still want to experience the book first. Shadow and Bone takes place in the Grishaverse, and in the Grishaverse there are certain people called Grishas who have an innate magic. Depending on what kind of innate magic you have, depends on what kind of powers you get. Some people have control over fire, some people have control over wind, and such and such. I don't know, an indeterminate amount of time ago, I'm not entirely sure how long, a thing called the Fold appeared in this universe, which separates 2 parts of one kingdom, and it's filled with monsters and absolutely like deadly to try and cross. But there is a legend that a Grisha called the Sun Summoner will appear and can get rid of this fold. Get rid of the fold, which is like a void. So this follows Alina Starkov, who finds out that she is supposed to be this Sun Summoner, and it's about her learning about her powers and trying to learn how to control them, and the people who would try to take advantage of her because of this, I think. I'm saying this like I actually know what goes on in this book. This is what I've gathered from the first 2 episodes of the season and from what I've heard online. And despite my previous statement that I only buy 1 book in a series, I have bought the entire series of Heartstopper. But I have read this entire series online. I just really wanted physical copies because I love these books so much. I'm going to put them down, so I'm only going to hold one. Heartstopper is a visual novel by Alice Oseman, who is a young adult author. She's written many regular novels, but she's also an illustrator. And this follows Nick and Charlie, who are 2 characters from her first novel, Solitaire, who are boyfriends. They are already boyfriends in Solitaire, however Heartstopper follows the story of them meeting and falling in love in secondary school, and it is one of the cutest graphic novels I have ever read. It is these two sweethearts who are just like idiots in love, and it's amazing, and their friend group and like the fan family within that friend group, it's just amazing. I would highly recommend this to anyone who wants to read a fluffy, cute romance. I will give a trigger warning for discussions of eating disorders, depression, anxiety, and just general mental health. I think Alice Oseman does it in a really good and sincere way. She's very compassionate about it, and in this, she does give trigger warnings before something heavy is going to happen. But I'm so happy. Now, let's get on to the mystery box. A little bit of information first. This mystery box is from a company called ABoxOfStories. They are on a mission to stop the number of books that get thrown into landfills every year. So all of the books that you get in your box of stories are saving books from being chucked into the landfill. The subscription that I got was for a box every 3 months. You can do it for every month, every year, I believe, every 6 months, but I thought quarterly was good because you get 4 books per box, and that won't make me feel so guilty about buying other books at the same time around this box. If I was getting a box of 4 books every month, I'd start to feel guilty to going out and buying books that I want. If you're worried about getting books that you already own, there is a way on ABoxOfStories to link up your Goodreads account. For those of you who don't know what Goodreads is, it's like a social media for books. You can sign up and then you can make notes of what you've read, write reviews, read other people's reviews, put what you want to read, what you're currently reading, set a reading goal for yourself for the year. I will put my Goodreads in the description below if you guys, I don't know, want to become friends with me on there. But you can pick, back to the box of stories, they provide different types of subscriptions. I've gone for the fiction mystery box, so it's all kinds of fiction books. You can go for the, I believe, mystery fiction box, which will all be like crimes and thrillers and things like that. You can go for a fantasy, you can go for a non-fiction, you can go for a mix, which will give you fiction and non-fiction. And without further ado, let's see what we got. See how quickly I can open this with the letter opener. So on your box, I don't know if I'm still in frame, I hope I am. On your box they give you a little bit of a description. So it says 77 million books are destroyed in the UK every year. 83% of the books pulped are before... 83% of these books are pulped before they've even been read. We want to save these amazing books from being lost in time forever. Every box you get saves 4 amazing books and you discover 4 incredible authors. So that's a better, more succinct way of describing what I was trying to say earlier. So let's see what we've got. Okay, so the first book is Night Heron by Adam Brooks. It says, a prisoner on the run with secrets the world would kill for. Interesting. A lone man escapes a labour camp in the dead of night, fleeing across the winter desert of northwest China. This sounds amazing. 2 decades earlier, he was a spy for the British. Now he finds Beijing transformed and crawling with danger. The fugitive must quickly disappear on its surveillance blanket streets or face death. Desperate and ruthless, he reaches out to his one-time MI6 paymasters by journalist Philip Mangan, offering secrets in return for his life. Mangan is dragged deeper and deeper into a whirlpool of lies as the secrets prove more valuable than either of them could ever have known, and not only to the British. Okay, as someone who is not the biggest fan of spy books, this sounds really interesting. Ooh, okay. Never heard of this before. That's really interesting. Okay, next book is The Puppet Show by M.W. Craven. Another one that I've never heard of before. Okay, here we go. Oh, first 3 words and I'm hooked. A serial killer is burning people alive in the Lake District's prehistoric stone circles. He leaves no clues and the police are helpless. Okay, I love the fact that out of the 4 books, 2 of them are already based in England. I've never read a thriller based in the Lake District before. When his name is found carved into the charred remains of the 3rd victim, disgraced detective Washington Poe is brought back from suspension and into an investigation he wants no part of. Reluctantly parted with the brilliant but socially awkward civilian analyst Tilly Bradshaw, the mismatched pair uncover a trail that only Poe is meant to see. The elusive killer has a plan and for some reason Poe is part of it. Ooh, another like thriller. This sounds like it probably be quite fast paced like the other book. Yes, let's hope there isn't like a shoehorned, badly written romance between the 2 main characters. Probably will be, but that sounds really good. Okay, next book is Never Anyone But You by Rupert Thompson. I can read. Ooh, okay. When Suzanne, a shy 17-year-old, meets the brilliant but troubled Lucy in rural Provence at the turn of the 20th century, the 2 young women embark on a clandestine love affair, but they long for greater freedom. Okay, queer romance. We're in this. The lovers move to Paris, where they recreate themselves entirely as Claude Cahun and Marcel Moore. In no time, they are mixing in the most glamorous social circles and producing art of great power and strangeness. But the world is rapidly darkening around them. With war looming, they leave Paris for Jersey, and it is here that they confront their destiny, dreaming up a campaign of propaganda against Hitler's occupying forces that will put their love and even their very existence in jeopardy. Okay, so far, this one I think is going to be my favourite. I mean, can we say historical queer fiction? Yes! Oh my god. This is already like the best subscription that I think I could have chosen. And the last book in the mystery box is Leaving Las Vegas by John O'Brien. I think I've heard of John O'Brien before. John O'Brien? Brian? But let's see. I guess maybe not unless he's written more since then. Leaving Las Vegas, the first novel by John O'Brien, is the disturbing and emotionally wrenching story of a woman who embraces life and a man who rejects it. Sarah is a prostitute, content with the independence and routine she has carved out for herself in a city defined by recklessness. But she is haunted by a spectre in a yellow Mercedes, a man from her past who is committed to take control of her life again. Ben is an alcoholic intent on drinking his way to an early death. Newly arrived from Los Angeles, he survived the 4-hour intoxicated drive across the desert with his entire savings in his wallet and nothing else left to lose. Looking to satisfy hungers, both material and existential, Ben and Sarah stumble together on the strip and discover in each other a respite from their unforgiving lives. A testimony to the raw talent of this young author. Okay. Ooh, okay. Out of all of the 4, this is probably the one that is interesting me the least, but it is also the shortest, so I'm still going to give it a go. I'm not completely like, oh god, I'm not going to like that. One of the good things I thought about this mystery box is that it's going to force me to read books that I maybe never would have picked up before, so you never know, I could read this and absolutely love it. But I have to say, out of the 4, this one is sort of capturing my attention the least. Right, and that is all the books I have hauled recently. Can't imagine doing book hauls too often because I don't buy books in bulk all that often. Maybe next time I'll slowly just make a pile as I go and then wait until I've got around about the same amount of books. Out of curiosity, people who do watch book hauls, do you like long book hauls with loads of books? Do you like shorter ones where people can get more into descriptions of the books? Just let me know in the comments below. But yeah, that's all I've got for you today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!